That's our water filtration through charcoal filtration system. Now, is that not fucking crazy?
I'm using both of mine, bro.
Fluoride, put in water, fluoridated water, and toothpaste, fluoride toothpaste. Sodium fluoride is the main ingredient in rat poison. Okay, it says that its effects on the rodent are it affects the rodent's ability to make decisions. So, motherfuckers ain't doing nothing about nothing. They can't even fucking decide shit. They've been poisoned unknowingly. So they're they're out of their regular capacities and don't even know it.
Mm-hmm.
Through poisoning, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And that fluoride. And what does the fluoride also do? Well, it hardens the pineal gland, okay? Which is what is considered a person's where their artistic and their higher abilities come
Third
from.
eye.
Right. Knowing that anything can happen, will happen, given the constant of time. We could make account for every possibility until you add the God factor. Because God is not subject to our time and reality, we are subject to His. So all that shit, He changes everything. But He makes everything right also. What's God's main opposition of God and creationism? Well, it's science and Darwinism, evolution and shit. Okay? Well, they say God says life, the beginning of life for us was started with Adam. Okay? Science says the building block of life is the atom. ATOM, atom, being the parable of ADAM, atom. See, they're both atoms. But a parable, a story about one thing, it also means something else. Now, just the way that it's written, the Bible in parables, that's the only way you could write any work and still be relevant 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 years later would be in parable. See, you put yourself in this position because what it's teaching is lessons of the spirit and lessons of the flesh. We are always at least two beings, spirit and flesh. Whether you believe it or not, we are. Okay? Here's how to prove it. Your brain works for your flesh. That is your thinker for your flesh, your brain. Your brain will make every calculation necessary to keep that ass alive. You could know with your brain, you go knock on that ex's door, it's going to be that, she going to call 911 again. You going to get that felony DV, you hear? You're in violation. But if your heart's involved, your heart don't give a fuck what your brain knows. And you're going to find yourself right there at that fucking door. The heart is where your spirit lies. You understand what I'm saying? And your brain is for your body. That's the way it goes. Now, some people have more conflict in their spirit because they got many spirits, like Legion. Okay? And I found out where that comes from, Legion. Legion was a motherfucker that everybody in the city was talking shit like they was Facebooking this motherfucker. You understand? And he went outside of the city limits. You see? He took their dirty spirits on with him.
Legion's demon.
It's many.
You're sure right.
That's right.
You're sure right. Keep
And
speaking.
And we're
This
told
man is well trained, well educated. He is your 1%. Keep speaking.
That's how we're supposed to be.
I'll post this up on Instagram. Watch and see what happens.
Because the best thing they ever do in school
Triple H.
for us
Triple
is teach us how to read. Once you can read, you can learn anything you want. Okay, that's the power of it. Education is sure enough power. But like this brother was saying, when most of these documents was written up in this country, most people were ignorant to reading. They didn't understand to read. So how were those words done? Well, phonetically, they would sound it out. And it could be written many ways, but the way it sounded out. Now, I found that in the Bible, the book of Isaiah. Okay? It's Isaiah. The S-A-I-H, it's all there. What's the next book? The next book is Jeremiah. But Bible was written in what? Latin, Hebrew, and Aramaic. Okay? So all those languages, a J isn't a J sound like Jesus, it's an H sound like Jesus. So the next book, Jeremiah, or Hear Me, Jeremiah, Hear Me,
Yeah.
all the letters. What's the next book? Lamentations. A fucking word never made sense to me. Or Lame Nations. I say, hear me, lame nations. I mean, I'm telling you, the next book's Ezekiel, the next book's Daniel. I know the book. 66 books in our conventional Bible penned by 40 authors, supposedly the Word of God. Okay? There's more books that come in the Vulgate, which is the Christian example that was pulled out of the Bible. And among those, the Book of Maccabees, Bell and the Dragon. Bell and the Dragon was a book in our book, you know, uh, and people don't even know how to read those words, and that's how it was written and hidden through pronunciation. Kings know in the preface of the Bible, before you ever hit Genesis 1:1, there's a preface that says, any man that adds to or takes away from this book shall inherit all the plagues and pestilences spoken of herein.
Preach.
The book. Okay, who was having the book transcribed? It took educated men.
Preach.
Generally, they would be men of the church, educated men. You know, people that a woman's man dies and she bequeaths all his assets to the church, you see, and then she lives off the graces of the church. Why? Because there was a time a woman couldn't own or buy fucking land.
Yep.
You see? So if her man was dead, she's subject to fucking real outlaws, you hear me? Because she can't own that shit. So she'll bequeath it to the church, and a good church, you know, Padron, that's why they call him father, looks out for him like a father, not fucking him and all that, you know. Well, it's real shit. That's how it come down. And then people will hear somebody like, how could you talk about the Bible and say the word fuck? Okay, well, to be offended. To be offended is one thing. You know, if somebody feels offended, I can't, you know, say they don't feel that. You know, it's like when the brother looked at me and said, damn, wasn't that shit scary? I looked at him, I said, hey, homeboy, anything's scary if you're scared. You know, I was at that point, I've been out penitentiary 27 years. At that point, it was 20-some, I don't remember, but I wanted a little yard time. It's hard to take everything on your shoulders, and you can't just get down and get this shit over with, man. No matter what, at the end of that shit, you sleep better than you ever slept in fucking months in that rack. You hear me? Because you got to get that shit out, whatever it was. You know what I mean? I was at one of them points, and this dude turned to me saying, wasn't that scary? You know, perception. It can be if you're scared, you know? Same thing. So what you're fighting for, make sure it's worthy of your life. Because to me, anything fighting for should be worth dying for. If it ain't, I'm biting my tongue and walking on my way. You know what I mean? And do I do that? Fuck yeah. Everything ain't worth dying for. Everything ain't worth dying for. You know. But sometimes, that's why you always got to be careful dealing with people. Because sometimes it's not just about you and me, but about everybody else watching. Because nobody wants to go through this shit every day. Right? Some motherfucker just may have to make an example. Or vice versa.
It can ward trouble away by seeing that you can get violent and defeat other people. It can ward trouble away, like a person with a handgun can reduce crime committed against him, even if you have a gun, because he can shoot you from a distance. So I'm gonna find somebody without a gun. We hear you. Triple H, speak.
And that is truth. But know always that our brothers and sisters out here are tricked to drug in the mind of being able to make good conscious decisions, man. They are manipulated, drugged. Now, how do you get that sodium fluoride out of the water? Okay, there's only one filtration system that does it, and it's called reverse osmosis. And it's basically what purified water by Walmart, they use reverse osmosis. I believe this one is too. Members Mark, yeah. Ironically, if you go get Nestle Pure Life, it's called Pure Life, and read the water source, Dallas, Texas, public water. Did you hear what I just said? Nestle Pure Life. People get it sold by the baby formulas and shit. Because of the name, Nestle Pure Life. Yeah, is that not crazy? Which brings me to the baby formula. One of the largest manufacturers is DuPont. DuPont that make many things, also one of the Bilderbergs, DuPont, family DuPont. They also own a spot in Mays County, Pryor Industrial Park. Just let you know. Yeah, those rabbit holes go deep.
It's Mucho De Niro. We out here with Triple H talking about the 1%. A lot of questions that y'all have had. Listen to this expert. We checking out.